Hello and welcome to week number 50. Only 2 more weeks left until the end of the year. Cracking on this week's analysis by having a look at the CFTC report from the Scotia Bank. And we had some interesting developments on the euro side where we saw over 1 billion short covering and a bit of long positioning adding that left the euro net position just shy of 1 billion short. Interestingly, we didn't see a lot of bullishness in euro USD last week, but it looks like market is positioning bearish dollar as they go into the Fed meeting next week, and we should see some interesting movements on Wednesday and Thursday. On the other side, GBPUSD hasn't really seen any adjustment in the positioning, so we can see that the 3 billion short positioning in the pound is pretty much stable. Shorts and longs covered a little bit, brought open interest down, but overall market is still fairly bearish on the pound as we are moving into the next week. And looking at the charts, I'm quite interested to short GBPUSD. I'd like to see maybe some fluctuations. Tuesday jobs data for the UK could be quite positive, and we'd like to see if we can climb at the 33 handle, ideally about 133.20. I'll be looking for shorts to capture the lion's share of the move of next week as we are moving into Thursday, where there would be Bank of England rate announcement. Another trade I'm interested in is USDJPY. On the contrary, I actually like to sell USDJPY for 2 reasons. One of the reasons is market is going to the Fed meeting on Wednesday extremely hawkish. They're expecting 3 rate hikes. They're expecting a lot of revisions to the GDP and the CPI calls, and I don't think the Fed can deliver that. They will struggle to deliver an overly hawkish thing that market is already pricing. So as we are moving towards Wednesday and that meeting, I really expect USDJPY to reflect that as markets starting to realize, okay, maybe we did a little bit too much, maybe we're asking too much from the Fed to deliver, and really would like to see these lower levels getting eaten up, ideally that gap to close. And I'm speaking to a couple of other traders that said they don't see that gap on their charting platform. Now I've flicked through a couple of brokers, and some of them have it, some of them don't. That won't really make a difference in terms of where I'm thinking USDJPY should be moving the next couple of days. Couple that with yields that have been climbing down as well, and we're not expecting yields to do any extreme move until Wednesday and Thursday is out of the way. So keeping that in mind, I feel like the downside pressure on USDJPY is justified, and probably one of the smarter trades to do for me as we are going into next week with a overly priced in Fed that probably will end up under delivering. As we are moving outside of Wednesday into Thursday, there's going to be a lot of hedges. So specifically, if I'm looking at GBPUSD can easily by the end of week trade 200-300 pips away from the current levels. So it's going to be a lot to trade with, specifically as we're moving into the end of a year. And usually you don't get to see these movements, but this year is a little bit different. Inflation really changed the way that central banks are reacting, and that could see some really outsized moves in the currency market. Hopefully 1 or 2 of them will be able to capitalize as we are moving to the end of a week. There's not a lot of trades I really want to get involved in just now, because the swing trades will unlock on the back of Thursday once those central bank meetings are out of the way. But just be mindful, you're going to see some strong moves. There's a lot of hedging activity right now choking price action, but once those hedges come off, you will see that a lot of flows, one directional flows in the currency market, which would be able to capture. That's all I wanted to cover about this week. Also like to invite you to come over to my website, speculatorsTrading.com, and you can look at the different pricing options I offer. One of the key things I do is on a daily and a weekly basis in my trading room. I talk about the reaction function of how macro bonds yields react to the changing environment, and how in correlation to that the Forex market reacts, and how we can capture those bigger trades. You get to see me how I place trades around these macro themes, how I use news to get into trades, also some other technical analysis that we use that's very unique to the way that we approach market. That means over the days and the weeks, it's not only you learn how adopt these things, but over the month as well, you gain that knowledge that down the line you can use yourself as a trader and to maximize your profit capacity. And so I'm looking forward if you can make your way down there. Again, loads to learn on a daily basis and get to interact with me as well. That's all again I wanted to cover. I wish you a successful week, and I'll be seeing you next week again. Thank you and bye.